Beginning resynchronization.
Welcome to Resync, a podcast where friends talk about games. I'm your host, Chase.
My boy! And I'm your co-host, Sam.
So, after recording our last episode, it really got me hyper fixated on game mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically because of the homework I assigned to you.
Cruelty Squad.
It really got me thinking about some of my favorite mechanics in games because that game features one of mine.
I'm excited to try it out.
And so, what better topic to jump right into next after discussing demos than our favorite game mechanics and game design features, whether they be for the best or the worst, or, good, bad, and sometimes the ugly. We may not agree on some of these, and we might have some hot takes here or there.
A little bit of a controversial take on some of these mechanics. We're jumping right into this second recording session, so we haven't had time to do our game homework yet, but we'll touch on that next time.
So, broadly speaking, for those listening, game mechanics can be a broad spectrum from jumping to moving boxes or even Valve's patented, or not patented, some foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
Actual gravity systems for...
like physics.
Yes, thank you. Physics system. And I think starting off, we can discuss some of our favorite mechanics and what makes them so special to us.
Yeah, we've come up with little lists of our own, of our 5 favorite mechanics and 5 mechanics that we don't like. You want to jump in to which one do you want to go with first?
You know what? We could kind of jump back and forth, each give our first good and then our first bad take.
Alrighty.
I'll jump in with my number 5 pick for game mechanics is what I like to call the big boot, or in physical combat sports, the teep. I like getting to put my heel into somebody's ribcage.
A nice little pushback.
Yeah. That's something that I look forward to seeing your opinions on, as that mechanic is featured in its own very interesting way in your homework.
Okay. All right. Well, I haven't got to play that yet, but that gives me a little insight into what I might be experiencing. Did you order yours already? Because I haven't numbered mine.
I haven't gone through. I'm on the spot. We're hot seating.
Okay, we're just gonna on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay. So a nice little combat push is your first favorite. What's your first bad?
My first bad, I'm going to go ahead and say, is timed levels in games that are not necessarily time-based. So things like Resident Evil having you escape under a time limit, where we all know we're going to make it well within that time limit. They just want to turn the heat up a little bit, but they could have done that naturally.
They got to make you sweat.
I prefer my tension a little bit more organic.
Yeah, that's fair. Do we want to talk about instances that you have experienced your big boot? What kind of other games
so
do that well, in your opinion?
Dead Island features that well in having the simple standing boot that can also then transition into the drop kick.
Hell yeah.
The good old double foot plant.
Mm-hmm. The sprinting flying kick.
I am the Ram. That's another one which very much same vein, same avenue. Why can't I think of it right off the top of my head? Dying Light. Another video game series that I believe is also Techland, but also just something about that weighty crunch coupled with Dying Light has almost like a Hall of Meat-esque feature of you can like get a little X-ray vision of whenever you like plant it. Like if you hit an arm, you'll like watch their elbow snap or like watch ribs break. It's a good time.
Hell yeah. A little Mortal Kombat X.
Oh yeah.
I think another good instance of that. A lot of them, funnily enough, seem to be very zombie-oriented games that include that.
We like to abuse our dead.
Left 4 Dead has that as well, with a nice little melee pushback.
Yeah, getting to feed the butt of your gun to a zombie.
Yeah, it's a little less boot related, but kind of pushes an entire group away from you.
Yeah. What do you think you have coming in?
The first one on my list, in no particular order so far, Metroidvania-style ability unlocks.
Yeah.
I really like finding a new ability, not just earning it, but like coming across it in a cool, organic, in-game way. And sometimes, Metroidvanias, you're not going to like come across the ability in a way that makes it feel like you earned it. You're just going to like go through a level and at the end you get something. But I still like that too.
So you found the statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That is a fun system for games to use.
And then the first on my bad list, on my shit list for mechanics that I'm not the biggest fan of, is resting to regain abilities, energy in Stardew or spell slots in D&D. I don't like when core abilities of my character are taken away from me and gated with a rest mechanic, when there are a lot of other characters, even in the same game, like in D&D, that don't have that same problem. Or like you brought up earlier when we were making our lists, even martial classes in D&D run into this problem, where it's like, why does cleave cost some kind of resource to use?
Right. I have a weapon.
Yeah.
I can swing my weapon. It shouldn't change how my swing plays out.
Yeah.
If I were doing something like a special heavy strike, or like, oh, this is like a chance at a guaranteed critical if it lands. Yeah, but just the feature to be able to hit more than one person with a large weapon, because it is only typically large, like two-handed swords and the like that are able to use cleave.
I can only do that once per day.
Oh no, God, I'm worn out. I can keep throwing this sword around for the next 20 minutes on one guy.
But no wide swings.
Yeah, don't you ask me to hit two people one more time.
Yeah, that's fair. What was your first negative again?
My first negative was timed levels to simulate tension.
Timed levels. And you brought up Resident Evil and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much of a comparison of my own to bring up with that, but I don't like you said, manufactured tension unless it feels earned.
Yeah.
If it's just like, oh, there's a timer, and it's like, okay, but like it's already stressful. Can you make it stressful in a more, I don't know, earn it?
Yeah.
It feels like sometimes it feels phoned in.
Yeah. Well, it's like jump scares in horror movies. It's anybody can do that.
Yeah.
I can put a timer over the top of something.
But if you want me to really be thinking about the horror that I was seeing, and that you can't just jump scare me into like existential dread.
Right.
What's next on your list?
So next for me, coming in at number 4 would be Bullet Cam.
On your favorite list?
Yeah. So think Sniper Elite, watching how your shot lands, or more specifically for me, more of a cult classic, so not quite sure how close this will hit for other people, but Clive Barker's Jericho features a sniper. They refer to her as Black, I believe, or last name. She's a soldier in a supernatural special forces unit, and she is able to telepathically or telekinetically guide her sniper bullets. So you get to, fire it and then immediately follow your path and guide it to your enemy. And
is that one and if this isn't it, this is just a proof that there are a lot of games that do this well. I haven't played it, but is this it's like an indie game where you can like guide your bullet, and once you hit a target, you like aim again and go for a different target? Is that a different game?
But I do have that game. I believe Children of the Sun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I am
right.
a very big fan of that game, though I am not ashamed to admit I have not completed the final level. because it's pretty mechanically intense. They really take that mechanic and add a spin to it.
Yeah, they had like a whole puzzle there.
Oh yeah, and it's very satisfying, especially at the very end of every level. It zooms out for a top-down perspective and almost creates like a runic pattern of like showing like a sunlight beam of like how your bullet tracked through the map.
That's sick.
Because you are only given one round to kill every person on the map.
That's cool. Unrelated, this is full tangent, but that makes me think of just that final view of the bullet travel. Makes me think of a demo I played during, I think it was last Next Fest for Cairn.
Okay.
Fully unrelated, fully different, but it's a climbing survival game. And basically after you summit, it shows you, it like zooms out and shows you your like route up
very
up
cool.
the mountain. And I like that. I like that zoom out to see like how you pulled it off.
And special mission to that mechanic.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
A bonus.
My second negative, I am gonna say coming in at number 4 on my top 5 bad mechanics. This one might go a little too niche for some, but the stomp mechanic with Dead Island, once it's unlocked, becomes an instant kill maneuver for any zombie that you knock into a prone state.
Yeah.
And while, yes, having an instant kill maneuver is like, yeah, that's cool, something I can pull off, it is such a boring experience from that point onward.
Trivializes the combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some ways in which something like that can be executed and be fun. I mean, look at Doom and their glory kills.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's lots of variation between it.
Yep.
But every time you go to stomp, it is the exact same animation over and over.
Or like visceral kills in Bloodborne are like another good example of this. Where it's like, you know, you get that good parry and they just are under the amount of health that your visceral attack will do. You take them down. Yeah, I like that. My second on my favorites list is crafting.
See, for me, crafting is so hit or miss.
Yeah, I like crafting in games, but like specifically how Terraria handles crafting, where a lot of the items you craft can be later utilized to craft new items when you find other resources to combine with it. Because one of my pet peeves with crafting is like when you craft an item and then it's useful for X amount of time and then it just takes up space after that.
Yeah, you're not quite ready to like, oh, should I just throw it away or just let it collect dust here?
Always being uncertain if it's like worth keeping or if the game doesn't have that in mind.
Yeah.
But like Terraria is like my gold standard for crafting in games because like you hold on to shit and you keep it and you make it into something cool later. And I just like that. That's a rewarding feeling, especially for somebody like me who is hoarding like every item in the game.
Fair. I will agree. I really think Terraria is like almost like evolutionary lines for crafting where like you might get, you know, you start off with the like basic, what is it? The grappling hook that allows you to like clutch onto walls.
Yeah.
And then you can turn it into like the vine hook that grants you 3 separate arms that you can then like, you essentially become Doc Ock, traversing with the way that things just progress with their crafting.
Or like the copper sword being part of the Terra Blade later on somehow.
Yeah.
Like just like everything, you can use most things more than once.
Yeah.
And I like that forethought in a crafting system.
See, and that it goes to show how many different variations on individual mechanics there can be, because typically I'm really not as big into crafting for the opposite reason of there are so many games where crafting feels incredibly tedious, whether it be due to the amount of resources needed for a single item that will inevitably be left to gather dust in the near future.
Yep.
Or where it ends up having so many different workbenches that overlap in like technical use from, you know, a reality standpoint, but in-game share none of the same craftables and take up massive amounts of space that you are then required to use because, oh, now this item is required for you to progress whatever minor story there may be to this game.
That's fair. That makes me think of V Rising.
Yeah, that is immediately what comes to mind for me with
Which,
that.
like, I like, but I also dislike the time-gated crafting of that. Time-gated crafting is not something I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Like, smelting stuff is fine. It shouldn't take long, if any time. But like when you're on like weird time scales that are like, it's gonna take like 45 minutes for all this to craft. It's like, no.
See, in that, another little bonus mechanic making a headway here. I cannot get behind any real-time based craft of any kind.
Yeah. I like crafting that's like instant.
Yes.
Give me, if I've already gone out, taken the time to gather resources, taken the time in some cases to like get a recipe or whatever, or like unlock the ability to do something, don't make it take extra time to craft it. Just let me do it. There's no point.
Take some shots at myself of being a Warframe player, a game where you will spend 24 hours crafting each individual piece for something and then spend 72 hours to put all 3 pieces together before you can use the new toy that you spent 72 hours grinding for.
You know, it's just the masochist. The masochist game mechanic.
Maybe you'll still want to play by the time this is ready. Maybe you'll be burnt out. Let's roll those dice.
My second bad mechanic on my list is invisible walls. I fucking hate invisible walls. If there's a cliff and I can't jump off of it, sometimes I just want to jump off the cliff.
Even video games give me the call of the void.
Let me do it. I can take the repercussions of falling off the cliff if I'm so inclined to jump. Most of the time, if there is like a semi-open world game and I see a cliff, I'll be like, well, I don't know what'll happen, but I'm going to try. Because that's player freedom, baby.
That's player freedom.
Or like even worse implementations of it where it's like, let's say you're in like an outpost or something and there's a balcony and you're like, oh, I can cut some time off of leaving this building by jumping off the balcony and going into the street. Nope. Invisible wall, idiot.
But
I hate that.
We'll leave other places with the same height of like railing in that same region. You can jump over those, just not this one.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think one of the most egregious of that for me is Fallout. I mean, you will have sections where it's not even, oh, you're at the cliff. It's a matter of, hey, it's a completely flat plane out ahead of you. Stop walking that way. Stop walking that way.
I think there was a clip I saw in a Star Wars Outlaws where you have like a speeder bike, and there was a clip I saw where like somebody was just riding their speeder bike and hit an invisible wall.
Destiny
with
the sparrows.
Yeah. Like, just make some kind of physical thing in game. Make it make sense. Come on.
You can, especially like Fallout, you can have wreckage in the roads. You don't need to show me a highway and then just tell me, nope, stop walking. That highway's not for you.
Yep.
Then you shouldn't have left me that path visible.
What's your third on the favorite mechanics list?
Coming in third for me on the mechanics list, I'm going to give it to weapon customization, whether that be, again, referencing Dead Island. Dead Island's schematic based or Fallout 3, because Fallout New Vegas didn't really stick with it until some of the expansions. They're schematic based crafting. Anything that allows me to turn something that I already have into a better version of what it is. Mm-hmm. So I guess this kind of falls in like with you talking about crafting.
Oh yeah, like some Terraria.
Yeah. But like, I mean, biggest thing for me, especially when it comes to like any form of whether it be weapon or armor customization, is visualization.
Oh yeah. If I have some kind of increase or some kind of like enchant I want to see that shit.
Yep.
Show me it.
Don't just tell me I have +3 to fire damage and then like leave it as a basic looking thing. Like add some smoke coming off of it. Give me some detail.
Bonus bad mechanic. Anytime I get a new item and it doesn't show up on my character.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. I think one of my early memories of like upgrading weapons and being really fucking pumped about it is getting enchants in like classic WoW.
Oh yeah.
That shit was so cool. Even though like sometimes they weren't that useful, I was just like, I got a little aura on my sword now. Woo!
Yeah, well, or being able to, for Druid, for me back in the day, getting to change like your aquatic form. And,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just like simple, nothing more than a visual change.
But it's visually represented.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
I am a big fan. Coming up next for bad mechanics for me at number 3, I would probably have to say number 3 for me would be losing gear before major moments, or like purposefully crippling of the player while like directing them to believe that it is a situation where like, yeah, bring all of your stuff. Specific examples for me come again referencing Fallout. Fallout 3's expansions, Mothership Zeta and The Pit specifically. Both of them remove all the gear you had on your person once you have activated the actual like quests for them, and both act like starting points for said DLC are dangerous to get to. You are going to like run into stuff, so it's not something where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to leave all my loot and then come here.
Yeah.
I mean, most people eventually realize that's what they should do because they're forced to lose it anyway.
Time to naked run to the DLC.
But most egregiously for me with games that do this are putting your loot in a non-specified spot where it is entirely possible to lose your equipment after having had it taken.
Yeah. That would be like if in like Oblivion or Skyrim, after you left prison, they didn't just give you your shit back. You had to like go to the chest and grab your shit.
Right. Well,
and they didn't specify.
Like the equivalent of losing, like using those as specific examples, like any Daedric artifact that is not like quest bound and therefore like irremovable from your equipment, that's gone.
Yeah.
And if it is like not, I mean, because a lot of these games, most of the like chests in them are designed to reset after X amount of time away from them. If these chests that your stuff are put into are set up just like all of these other chests, likelihood is if you lost it, by the time you realize, oh, I need to go check back here,
Yeah.
you might have lost it.
Oh, dude. Bonus bad mechanic when you lose items upon death in a game and they can despawn. I want to be able to recover it. Leave it on the ground. I know it's like a thing that happens with the resource management of the game's like stuff. So it's like cleaning it up.
Yeah.
But like in certain scenarios, they figured it out. Just drop a little headstone and let me pick everything up from that.
Yes. Or I think Dark Souls kind of rides that line pretty well of, yeah, like I'm going to make you drop your stuff, but you at least have an attempt.
Yeah.
You can try to get it back if you die again.
And you know the consequence of
Yes.
like dying a second time without recovering your souls or your echoes or
Yes.
your runes.
And that, speaking of like the countdown timers that I brought up, that is good organic tension. That run back to recollect your stuff,
Yeah.
knowing that any one mistake that costs you your life, I mean, it's all gone.
Very true.
Yeah, what do you have next for your good and bad?
For my next on my good list, unique items. So this ties into a lot of what we have been talking about with crafting and with not specific to crafting, but like it can play a role in this. But being able to go and do a dungeon and like WoW and get a piece of gear that is unique to that dungeon, that isn't just like, this is the base level iron sword.
Yeah.
Tying into that, having all of these unique items have unique art being able to see like this thing that I got, it's this thing specifically.
Yeah, there's no chance of it being mistaken.
This will tie into a little thing I have to say later about that.
Gonna get spicy.
A little foreshadowing. But unique items, I really like being able to like feel some accomplishment in having found a thing or having earned a thing or having made a thing and have it feel cool and my own. Next on my bad mechanics list, number 3, escort quests. I can't stand them. Usually, if I can avoid doing them, I won't do them. Specifically, story-based escort quests where you can't skip them, and the characters that you're escorting walk a different speed than you or run a different speed than you, like in between your walk and your run, but not like either one. You're like having to run and stop and wait. Or like they'll just stop randomly and like, I don't know, say some dumb shit. And then, you know, stuff will jump out from the bushes and you'll have to like turn around and be like, oh shit. Escort quests are so fucking annoying. And I feel like, I don't know if I can think of a good execution of escort quests. The best execution I could think of is one where they move the same speed as you.
Yeah, I have no problem dogpiling escort quests because alongside, you know, the incredibly valid complaint of either walking or running at an interval between your walk or run, I also cannot stand when the NPC that you have to follow or guide will run with you, but they start out walking while they are like in lead and will only start sprinting when you initiate a sprint. But you don't know that you can initiate a sprint because sometimes these games like to not let you sprint while following or escorting certain people, but then allow it for others.
Yeah.
So it takes you a minute to recognize, oh, we can speed this up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bother. It makes me also think of another bonus bad mechanic. It's a lot more varied in execution, but fetch quests. If I'm doing something, if I'm gathering something, and I spend time doing this shit, and by the end of whatever task I have completed, it doesn't mean anything, and I just get like quest complete, and nothing related to what I was gathering happened. It's just like, oh, go kill 5 boar and bring me their meat or something, and then you're done. Why?
Yeah.
There are some stuff you can do to make escort quests cool. Or not escort quests.
Fuck those.
Fuck those. There's some stuff you can do to make
fetch quests
cool. Just make it matter. Make me care that I'm grabbing the shit.
Yeah, well, and another flaw with fetch quests is so many times one person will give you the quest, you'll run to X destination, collect whatever you need to collect, you'll deliver it to somebody unrelated to that person in another location, and then to actually then complete it,
you gotta run all the way back.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are so many things that you could spend doing with that time to further invest me or immerse me in your world, to further the plot, but instead a lot of times it's just a lazy attempt to like, oh hey, I want to introduce this character,
or like keep you in the game or something. Like,
yeah,
this is making me think of our experience that we've been having with Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, which don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I have very much been enjoying it.
Oh yeah, a game we've been having a lot of fun with.
Yeah, first MMO in a long time that has not left me feeling very sad about liking MMOs.
Yeah, but every single in-town quest where you're like, go here, talk to this person, go here, talk to this person, go here, talk to this person.
I'm convinced that Gil in quote unquote early game, as I am currently a level 33 summoner and am still very much in the tutorial, they have you only going like within one region for a very short amount of time before forcing you into another region with a teleportation cost of like 500 or more Gil.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only thing I have spent Gil on in this game.
Yeah.
In the 33 levels I have played.
Well, because like leveling is so fast and you get gear so quickly that there's like a whole repair system.
Yeah, I have never repaired an item.
I did it once in a tutorial quest. I think there's like a quest that's like, go repair your shit for this dude, and then you like walk in and learn how it works, and that's it. That's all I've done it with.
Yeah, just further tutorialization.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the game though. Don't get us wrong. Final Fantasy 14, cool so far in our book.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll continue to play for the time being.
Yeah.
So that comes back to, that's my number 2 best mechanic now. And coming in at number 2 for me, similar but different to bullet cam, I've got bullet time. Whether it be max pain or, potentially controversial opinion here, Fears 2 and 3. I believe Fear 1 still had the mechanic, but for me, Fear 2 and 3 like really stand out because those are what I played the most of. I love getting to kick into a room, time slows down, and I just whip around, dropping everybody. Adjacent, but not the same as like Deadeye from Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. It's so satisfying.
It is really good.
You know, you get the like slow motion blood splatter coming out, and just a really cool mechanic, and it's a really interesting mechanic because it also gives you the ability to really highlight some of like your textures and things like that on your characters. You know, physics of bullets hitting people. I eat it up.
That makes me think of Super Hot.
Oh yeah,
Super Hot's I think a really good use of that. It like combines bullet time with the whole movement of the game. So yeah, I think that's a fun implementation of that as well. But yeah, what's your next bad mechanic?
Next bad one for me is something that is not necessarily avoidable. I just happen to not be a fan of it because I think it tends to take away a lot of the fun from games, is metas.
Oh, yeah.
Not talking about PvP. I can understand certain metas, like
metas are going to form in
up
PvP
in that.
games.
But for a PvE game, like, man, I loved the Borderlands games, but Borderlands 2 was infamous for once you got into like True Vault Hunter and I want to say Overpower was their like continuation of difficulty beyond. There are a very select list of guns that are, this is how you play the game now. Mandatory if you want any progress.
Yeah.
Which just, I mean, I understand balancing is a very difficult thing in any aspect of gaming, whether it be PvP or PvE. But PvE, at the end of the day, the experience is about the player and it's a power fantasy.
Yeah.
So,
and like, it's fair that some builds are not viable.
Yeah.
But like, if there's a creative build, why can't I play that way? You know, I should be able to. And I think that actually ties into my next favorite mechanic, multiclassing, creative builds. I really like being able to take aspects from, you know, classes or archetypes and combine them to create my own little hodgepodge of abilities and synergies. I like that control over my experience in the game. But yeah, I like being able to combine abilities. And, you know, like I said, makes sense that sometimes there aren't going to be viable builds. Not everything is going to work together. But when you have a bunch of different roles or archetypes and there's like an open skill tree system, being able to combine those things and like find synergies between stuff that might not necessarily be advertised as cohesive on the external. I like finding those and feeling like I came up with something cool.
Yeah. And sometimes feeling like maybe I'm the first one to have found this.
And then I look and I find the page.
7 different people saying.
Yeah, like Icy Veins is like, oh yeah, this build sucks. You're an idiot. And I'm like, but I like it.
I've seen hundreds of people doing this and I hate every bit of it.
Yeah.
So, shit.
My next on the negatives is when a game's sequel removes power that you have gained in the first game. I hate when I spent all this time getting these abilities and like the character goes through a journey. Like, don't undercut that in the sequel by removing it and making me get it all back. Unless you make me feel like that is earned, it's gonna make me mad every time. You can write it to make it make sense. I think we were talking about this during the list creation.
Yeah.
You can make it work, but like it's going to be hard to sell that to me.
Yeah. An example that immediately came to mind for me, which is why I said, like, there can be very certain circumstances where that can be pulled off. And maybe I'm alone in feeling this way, but like Dishonored 2 comes to mind of Dishonored 1. By the end of it, it is at least canon that you have the blink ability.
Yeah.
For sure. Because that is immediately given to you in like story moments. Whereas most of the other abilities all, to my knowledge, off the top of my head, of the abilities you get are then unlocked by you and like used if and when you want.
Yeah.
There is no obligation to collect anything outside of the blink ability in that game to beat it. But the sequel starts off with Corvo, our main character from the first one, no longer having the mark of the outsider. But he is then re-offered it by the outsider, who is, for those who don't know, an almost eldritch, godlike being.
A wandering god.
And, like, very trickster-esque. He does not necessarily, like, just give his powers to, like, good people, as in the first game. The whole catalyst for Corvo eventually getting his powers is set into motion by another person who has powers from the outsider. But they organically do at least try to address he no longer had them and he is now being like offered them back.
Yeah.
Rather than it just being like no explanation given. He's back to being a normal dude. That's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm like, oh, now he's got powers.
I think one of my, and I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know they exist, Metroidvanias that have sequels where you get into the sequel and you're like, I have to relearn how to like dash? Like, come on, what?
Yeah.
Like, I played the first game and I guess people could be like, yeah, well, not everybody did and blah, blah, blah. But once a character learns something, unless you give me a reason that they don't know it anymore, like you said, that's poop. That's poopy.
Yeah. Well, and you specifically bringing up Metroidvanias, like, obviously brings to mind, like, the namesake of Metroid, or at least one of the namesakes, in that I don't necessarily remember completely. There was a Metroid game that came out for the Wii, like Metroid Dark Samus, maybe?
I'm woefully unknowledgeable
But
Metroid, but I know it does have that problem where it removes power.
We'll see. This one, I do believe, actually addresses it in that it starts off like shortly after Samus has an encounter with series bad guy Ridley and is like hospitalized.
Okay.
Because she then like starts there's almost, and I could be getting this very wrong. I never beat the game and I am no Metroid historian.
Resync, a game where we wrongly talk about games we don't know much about sometimes, probably.
Sometimes, probably, maybe, I don't know. But she does start to have almost like a mental episode, Samus, due to there is like a dark, corrupted version of her that it is
is that?
Initially implied to be like, oh, like it's all in her head.
Is that when Samus's suit gets like
corrupted
with the Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's like made to appear, I think, that it's like all in her head, but it turns out to be that yes, there is this like dark figure of her that is now doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, there is like, at least in that iteration, there is like an explanation of like, oh, like she just went through the shit and is like not necessarily feeling all there and like has to go through like a medical thing. So like it's a chance of like, oh, maybe they like took stuff off of her suit and maybe she could no longer be trusted with like the weapons or
there's some kind of explanation. Also, did I say resync a game or did I say podcast?
You said podcast where we incorrectly talk about
I'll go back and check some later date. Editing Sam might have to
swoop in
to ADR that if I fucked up. So what is your final good and final bad?
So my final good is parrying and like parry counters.
Yeah, like perfect
Yeah.
parries and stuff like that.
Yeah, so obviously they're like the very popular, like Dark Souls as an example of their parrying system. Love it.
Oh yeah, I brought up visceral attacks earlier.
Yes,
I love
Bloodborne.
those.
So I told you earlier this afternoon while we were just discussing things, I recently started playing Ultra Kill. Ultra Kill has, in my opinion, a very unique take on the parry of there's no shield. There's like you're not like using a sword to like block an attack. You straight punch an enemy's bullets or strike
hell yeah.
with a closed fist and send that shit right back. And
That's badass.
there's nothing more satisfying than having an enemy try and headbutt you and just catching them square in the head and having that little flash of like, perfect parry.
Oh yeah, the visual indicators when you catch a perfect parry or like any perfect timing thing like a dodge, block, parry, where you like just see a visual indicator that you did it the best way you possibly could. It's like, ooh, give me that dopamine.
Special shout out to games like Hellsinger and BPM that give you on beat bonuses.
Oh yeah,
like,
you were telling me about that earlier.
Yeah.
That sounds really, really satisfying.
Something about it.
Yeah, letting you build up more and more. Yeah, explain what was the mechanic there with BPM and
Oh, so in, I believe it's Metal Hellsinger and a game BPM, bullets per minute, they are similar in appearance to a boomer shooter. However, under your reticle or off to the sides of it, there are almost beat markers. And so every interaction, whether it be jumping, reloading, shooting, or dashing, when done in perfect time with the music that is playing alongside everything that you're doing, it will like coincide and amplify that music.
Oh yeah,
layering new instruments and
That's
just amplifying the whole experience to say like you are really you are hitting that flow state.
Yeah, I love games that give you that flow state or that you can like enter the flow state.
And then last negative for me coming in at number 1 would be no fighting back or unkillable enemies. So for me, that comes in the form of things like Amnesia or Outlast in terms of no fighting back, where I can understand where people come from with enjoying that style of game, but to me...
Where you have to run away.
Yeah, but to me, that kind of hits the same notes as a jump scare of by removing any and all control over the situation that I have no option but to be scared. And at a certain point with those games, it is after the first or second time that you've lost one of those sections, it has lost any and all impact, and now you're just annoyed that you're not moving fast enough to be able to get around it. Or in terms of unkillable enemies, we have things like Dead Space featuring the regenerator that is, unlike the Resident Evil 4 regenerators, completely unkillable until a specific, almost puzzle-based section of the game, while its presence is nothing more than a bullet sponge mechanic to a degree that eats up already a limited source of ammo or leaves you circling in areas that you would normally be able to just run through to get to what you need to do, waiting for it to move so that you can slip by without having to waste that resource. It becomes less of a moment of tension and more of a task or a tedious exercise of ring around the rosy.
I think in some scenarios, though, it can add that tension that you were saying, like timed levels kind of feel like they're poorly manufacturing. I haven't played all the way through it because I'm a little coward, but Alien Isolation, I feel like I've heard people talk about that game, and I've played it a little bit, but like I said, little coward. I've heard people say that they really enjoy that, and I guess that's just like a difference in enjoyment because
different tastes.
That tension that it adds when I don't think you can kill the alien in Alien Isolation.
I don't believe so, but you are able to
able to fight back.
Deter it, and there are ways outside of just hiding.
which I think is a little variation on that
Yeah.
gives you some control other than just run away and hide in a closet and wait for them to open the door and kill you.
Yes. See, and that's like, I will concede too as well. Like, I enjoy Resident Evil 2, where you do have Mr. X, who is a unkillable stalker figure who will track you through the map. And again, even then, he eats bullets, similar to Dead Space, but the way that he interacts with the world isn't used in such a one note. Like, he shows up in multiple sections throughout the game. He also does show up as a boss fight where he is killable, but he is not
villain.
Just a puzzle.
Yeah.
He's not intended to be nothing but an obstacle that eventually just gets forgotten.
Yeah. Well, and a counterpoint to that, or maybe not a counterpoint, but like just continuing on that level of sometimes execution can overcome that.
Yeah.
Is I do in some games, like when usually there are like enemies that show up in pairs, and one of them might be like harder to hit but shielding the big strong character, or like let's say like a mage is like using like a spell to shield the character, and you have to take the mage down to be able to damage, and then like the big guy will like call in more mages, and you have to like kind of manage the battlefield a little bit. There's a little bit of aspect of managing the control of the situation. And I like some of that sometimes, but I get it. I get that like it's most of the time, maybe not most of the time, but in some aspects, it's just a waste of time and resources, especially in games where resources are very few and far between.
Yeah.
If it's going to have that, I would prefer I'm just able to shoot or swing my sword or whatever without worrying about losing my stuff because this stupid fucking guy is still here. Like,
so what is your number one good and bad mechanic?
So, and we'll get on to ranking these after we finish talking about them, but my last favorite and bad. So my last favorite one is the mechanic in Bloodborne, where if you get hit and then quickly attack, you can regain some of your life. I like that incentive to push forward, to like not recede from the combat, but to like dig into it and like get more aggressive, keep the combat quick and fluid.
Yeah.
And
really
like,
pushes that risk reward. Like, do you really want it?
Yeah. And those moments where like you're running on like one little section of health, but you have a decent chunk that you could regain if you're quick enough, and you like get in there and you parry, like we were talking about earlier, parry and then visceral and get like a bunch of health back. It's like, ooh. And then you get like the blood runes, or what are they called in Bloodborne? I think it might be blood rune. The thing that you can get those like ability modifiers.
Oh yeah, the different runes that you can equip. I think there are 3 slots. If we're like the lake, the river, and like other ones, or like just to name a couple of the runes.
I can't remember if blood rune is exactly correct, but regardless, those runes that give you, there's specifically one in mind that I have where it's like viscerals heal you more.
Yeah.
Or like viscerals do better. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it just made it more rewarding to have that aggressive combat style. Really benefit from that life leech. But my final bad mechanic on my list is item durability. I have 2 ways that I feel about this. One is that sometimes if it's done in a way where it's like, I don't know. I was trying to think of a devil's advocate for it, but I don't like it. I don't like when, especially when it's like some item that I found that's really cool and rare starts to degrade over time.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, just let me keep it.
Right. Or like, especially like it's a unique item that you know it's one of one in the game. You're never going to see it again once it's gone.
Well, and like you can repair in a lot of those games, but you're creating a problem to create a solution that takes time.
Yeah.
And like I said, there are probably some areas where, or some games where this can be done in a rewarding way. Like if crafting is part of your character's progression or something. I don't know. I don't like losing stuff that I get. Like Terraria, again, one of my gold standards for itemization, does not have durability. Big fan of that.
Yeah.
I like keeping my stuff.
Yeah. Well, and a hard like bounce off for me in that regard was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I am 99% certain I have not played every single Legend of Zelda game, but I've never recalled having a weapon break on me.
Yeah.
So,
I think that was a controversial new mechanic when
yeah.
it came out. Or maybe it wasn't. Like you said, I don't know. But
I understand, like, the shift to, like, an actual, like, fully open world game might have, like, pushed them to, like, oh, well, we have to, like, keep weapons interesting since we're not going to be able to, like, introduce so many through dungeons, like, in a direct, one clear path.
yeah.
But at the expense of that, you have made it feel like a chore
Yeah.
to do combat. I should want to fight things. I should not be looking at things going, God,
I need to go get that dude's weapon because I fucking broke my last one.
right, or like, oh man, I can't do this fight because like I don't want to waste this gear before I go do this other thing that I'm actually like trying to get to. These are just in the way.
Gotta go grind some mobs to get some more weapons. But there's also a level of that. I did play through Breath of the Wild, and I was really not a fan of that durability mechanic, which is one of the reasons this is on my list. I didn't like it at all. But it did force me to just, you can't get attached.
Yeah.
You can't get attached, which is one of the reasons I don't like it, because I like to get cool stuff and then be like, this is my stuff.
Yeah, well, we've already talked about it once tonight, and I know it's a mechanic in Final Fantasy. Your gear gains affinity towards you the longer you use it, and that is what I need in equipment. I want my equipment to want me to keep using it.
Yeah. Or I want to have the ability to like have my trusty weapon. Those games that allow you to upgrade your weapon over time with you.
Yeah.
You're always going to find new gear later, and that's fine. You'll either put it in a chest or sell it or whatever, but that's fine.
Bonus mechanic that this has me thinking of is big shout out to games like Oblivion, Skyrim, or even the first Borderlands, where simply by using a weapon of a certain type, you will level up those skills specifically. Like if you want to specialize in daggers in Oblivion, you can specialize in daggers. If you want to specialize in like bows, things like that, like you can truly just play, and the more that you play in a way, you will organically become stronger with that play style.
That RuneScape style of like you do something, you get better at it.
Yes.
Not a game I super like, but I was playing the RuneScape Dragon.
A Dragon Quest or
is it? No,
Dragon Veil?
Dragon something. The like survival craft RuneScape game.
Yeah.
I liked, and you know, Valheim does it too. Like that ability to keep doing the thing that you like and improve at it, and like not have it tied to gear, but still have it matter for gear.
Yeah, well, and I think another one that I know you have been playing recently with your fiance is Core Keeper.
Oh, yeah.
Core Keeper is another example of just good, organic, your gameplay informs your character.
Yeah, it has that same, like, you increase your affinity for something the more you do it. Does have item durability, but it also has a pretty easy and cheap repair system that I think actually leans on good itemization and good crafting, because in Core Keeper, when you repair something, you need scrap, basically. You can like take old gear that you're not using, you can scrap that, and you can take the resources you get from it, and you can repair items with it.
Okay.
So like, and it's instant, and it's usually like one of the resource, and you're not going to run out of those resources because you're always getting more of it. Yes, you do have to repair like every once in a while, but they also let you reinforce gear, which will double your item durability, or like maybe 1.5 times your item durability on that item.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how much it bolsters it, but it makes it a lot less frequent of a problem to face.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's an easy problem to overcome, so it doesn't really bother me that much in that specific implementation of durability. In that game specifically, I haven't run into it in a way that's like, oh fuck, my shit broke and now I'm screwed in this fight.
Yeah. Well, and kind of going back to durability, ease of like repair, stuff like that. I definitely think that kind of hits the nail on the head of why durability tends to rub the wrong way. Of it can be such a pain to have to repair like certain items in different games. I mean, I mean, look at like Valheim specifically, where like you have to have like the exact, like not every single component to rebuild it, but
Some
a solid
aspects.
portion of it. And like as you get higher up, I mean, that can be well, I guess I better go take a trip because I don't
Gotta
have
go
this
mine
stored
more
up.
iron or something.
And sadly has the added feature of like, yeah, there's teleportation,
But you
but
can't
can't
teleport the
teleport
shit
the
you need.
materials.
Yeah, Valheim, very early on in Valheim, I figured out a way to teleport that stuff. And I don't know, it's probably a very well known workaround. Because Valheim lets you take your character from one world and play them in any world. If you're on your like server with your friends, all you have to do is pop out, drop some stuff in a chest in a different world, pop back into the game, use the portal, and then pop back to grab it and then get back on, and nobody knows.
Said easy, quick transportation of materials.
Yeah.
Said tips and tricks with Sam.
If in Valheim they made it possible to like upgrade the portals later on, and maybe they have done this or plan to do this, I don't know. I think it's still in early access.
Yeah, well, it's definitely had quite a few updates since
Yeah,
I've played.
I haven't played it in a while either, but make me understand why I can't transport those materials. And then after I understand why, give me a way to upgrade the portal to make it so I can.
Yeah, see, that was another thing I was going to comment on with durability is like having the ability at some point to either extend durability by like substantial means or like completely remove it goes such a long way too. But I think also kind of speaks to it being a bad mechanic that developers put in ways to get around it at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That they're like, yeah, by the time you reach this, yeah, I'm sure you're probably sick of having to deal with that. Like, no, I was sick
Now
of
you
it a
can
long while
finally
ago.
circumvent this.
Yeah.
Doesn't this feel good and earned? No.
Like,
I mean,
recently-
it's nice, but whatever.
Recently for me, like I replayed through Dead Rising 3, where vehicle customization is a really big thing. Vehicles break down pretty quick.
Yeah.
Despite how like heavily like used they are or are supposed to be. Once you've hit level 50, which I'll let you know I was nowhere near level 50 by the time I beat the game, you can unlock after you've spent down a skill tree that your vehicles never break now. So it's like, man, if you knew that the vehicles breaking was going to be like a rough point,
Yeah.
you should have either made it a much sooner option than after somebody has probably played the game 3 times to be able to access that, or just don't do it. You're already second guessing the decision.
Yeah. It's the designed obsolescence of video
Yeah.
games. It's like, come on.
And again, like organically, if you want to like give me a crafting like workaround eventually that I work up to, yeah, cool,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But it will never make sense to me where, oh, I've hit a certain level.
Now my car doesn't break
Yeah,
because I'm better.
I'm just that cool,
Because
man.
I've spent hours and hours to get that skill point. Yeah. Let's go through and rank these before we give our controversial takes on some mechanics.
All right, you want to go over our bad ranks or our good ranks first?
Let's do good ranks first.
Okay, you want to take the first lead on that?
Sure. Why don't we just go through and I'll rank mine and then you rank yours, and then we'll switch and I'll do my bad and you'll do your bad.
Yes, sir.
So my 5 are Metroidvania style ability unlocks, crafting, unique items, multi-classing, and Bloodborne life leech attacks. If I had to rank these in number order, I'd probably put crafting at 5th, so the bottom of the list. Probably multi-classing at 4th, because I like that, but like I can also handle if I'm only able to do one class. And
Yeah.
there's synergies in like different skill tree stuff you can pick in one class. Bloodborne life leech attacks, like it's cool, but it's kind of niche specific to that. I don't know if I've seen it in many other games.
The only other games that I can think of that do something similar are like the newer Doom games or even Ultra Kill, where it's like, hey, push in to heal.
Well, and there are ways to set a Elden Ring character. You can get some. It's not Art of War. I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's a way to get that life leech thing for an Elden Ring character too.
Okay.
And then after that, I'd probably go unique items. And after that, I'd probably go at number 1, Metroidvania style ability unlocks. Just because, I don't know, I just like finding new stuff that I can do. And
Yeah.
adding to my repertoire in a fun way. And there can be, the very gamey style of designing that, game design wise, where you just find something and now you can do a thing. Or like the very like written into the game world, you find some statue to commune with and now you have gained a new ability. I don't know. I just like gathering my new abilities over the course of a game. And the fact that a lot of the times, especially the whole Metroidvania of it all, being able to use those new abilities to access different parts of the map. I like that.
Yeah.
So that's probably my number 1. How about you on your favorites?
Man. Coming in at number 5 for me, I'll probably give that to my big boot.
Big boot.
I'm getting to kick people away from you. Because it's fun, but in most games, it is a very circumstantial, like...
Yeah.
You're not spending your whole time, like, really enjoying that.
But it does feel good to be able to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You can definitely feel it. You can notice it when it's not there.
Yeah. Number 4 for me, I'm going to have to give it to weapon customization because I love it. I think it's a feature that more games should look into providing. But also, there are definitely things that I think impact my experience far more than customization of my gear.
But I like some good customization too.
I like to look nice.
Yeah.
So, number 3... Man, this one's kind of a close one for me.
Oh, yeah.
Between either bullet time or bullet cam.
Very similar.
Very similar. Both very satisfying. It's a matter of, do I find it more satisfying to like really like see the impact or to just unleash hell?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Watching your sniper elite bullet go through Hitler's singular testicle.
I love history.
Pretty good feeling, right?
Yeah. Number 3 will definitely be bullet time.
Bullet time.
Bullet time. It's satisfying, but definitely brings us around to number 2 being bullet cam.
Mm-hmm.
Of bullet cam just has like, I mean, it's much more personal.
Oh, yeah.
Get a real show out of an individual attack rather than just like the sporadic insanity of bullet time.
Yeah. Well, in those like moments and like those stealth kills in Skyrim where you let loose an arrow and it goes into the arrow cam and you know that you killed somebody and you're like, woo!
That's golden.
You just get to watch it. Or does that always kill when it goes into that?
I think so.
It usually does. But, Bethesda, every once in a while, you'll get that camera popping up and your arrow will just fly past somebody.
See, I've also, I don't know if it was a bug, because I primarily play Stealth Archer like so many people in Skyrim.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But I believe that even like some of the like non-continuous spells like Sparks or Flames, like if you use like Fireball or Lightning Bolt, you can get those to hit the cam.
My first playthrough in Skyrim was a mage, and I can confirm.
So it's there.
It does do that.
And then number 1 for me is definitely parrying and countering. Like just parry riposte, I believe. There's nothing more satisfying. I mean, especially like sound design of like every game that I've come across that has it is just on point on when you land the block into the counterattack. Just everything about it is satisfying.
The sound design, the visual indicators, the dopamine.
the dopamine.
Yeah, that one's a solid one.
Yeah.
So now we move on to ranking our negatives, our least favorite mechanics or our bad mechanics. This one, I think number 5 for me is going to be power removal in sequels because, like you said earlier, there are ways to make it work. There are ways to like write it in to make it make sense. And like, yes, it sucks to have to regain certain abilities, but it's not the worst thing in the world. After that, I'm going to go with escort quests because while they are super annoying, most of the time I can avoid them. And if I can't avoid them, then I'll cry about it for a bit, but I'll power through unless I quit the game.
Unless I quit the game.
After that, I know what my number 1 is, but I'm not sure about 3 and 2. I think I'm going to have to go with item durability at number 3 because, we stated in many ways that it can be kind of remedied in a way that makes it less inconvenient and annoying.
Yeah.
But invisible walls as my number 2. I just don't get it, man. Just put something physically there so I can't look over the edge and not jump.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Or specifically, like, I really want to drive home, like, not being able to jump over certain railings or something dumb like that, where, like,
yeah.
the same chest-high wall can be jumped over in every other area, but not this one. But by far, I think my least favorite is resting to regain abilities. Removing my ability to play the game
Yeah.
is one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, in Stardew, I love Stardew, but my least favorite thing about Stardew is having to rest. Let me go through the night. I don't wanna do that. Let me just stay out at the mines or stay out in the dungeon or the caves. I don't want to run out of my ability to play the game and have to go to the next day.
Yeah.
And in D&D spell slots, I love playing casters. So this always annoys me, mostly in lower levels. Later in the game, you got enough spell slots. It's not that big of a deal. You're usually not running out. But early on, you cast 3 spells, you're done for the day. And sometimes, depending on your party or depending on your DM, you could be playing the same day in game for a couple of sessions.
Oh yeah.
And just kind of be shit out of luck unless you get your DM to find a way to let you recover that. And I know there are mechanics in certain abilities that let you recover spell slots, but I'd rather just have mana that regens over the course of time.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. But yeah, that's my number 1 bad mechanic on my list for sure. How about you, buddy?
Because it is just so situational, and off the top of my head, I can only think of one example. I know for a fact there have to be more, but I'm going to use at number 5 the stomp. With reference from Dead Island.
Yeah.
But really, any mechanic that takes over as being the one thing that you use over and over again without being satisfying.
Kind of similar to this is the meta ability.
Yes.
Why would you trivialize the gameplay? Remove the fun.
Remove the fun button now. Number 4 for me, I would say, is timed levels to simulate tension. It's not my favorite thing, but at the end of the day, it's really not. I'll complain a little bit with my buddy, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, what do I know? I mean, I don't have to like everything.
You know what you like. That's what you know. And you don't like this.
And I don't like this. Number 3 for me is gonna be losing gear before major events.
Setbacks.
Yeah. It just let something happen. Give me a reason. I don't know, man. There are so many cases where it just sucks all the fun out of it. You can come up with a good story reason of the pit from Fallout 3. You are captured by slavers. But that still just aggravates me.
Yeah, you can make it make sense, but it doesn't mean it's going to be
an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it doesn't fully
absolve you.
Yeah, it doesn't fully fix the problem. That's actually similar to power removal.
Yeah.
Any situation where it's you stole it from me.
They have to in some way bring the player down because they know that if they let you come in as you are, it's not going to go well for what they've planned. But that also, kind of touching back on you talking about D&D through spell slots, is any good DM knows you need to be prepared for your players.
Oh, yeah.
You should, if you are already anticipating your players being too strong for this area, well, make the area stronger to match them. Don't make them weaker so that your stuff plays better.
Yeah. Well, and there's a whole balancing conversation about how, like, I'm sure some of those DLCs can be played from the start, you know?
Well, most of Fallout's DLCs, whenever it like loads up, gives you a level recommendation for when you
okay.
should be entering it.
Yeah. And then they take your stuff
Yeah.
away anyway.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, we know you're already going to like have this much power, but also we don't want you to have that much power yet.
Yeah.
Coming in at 2 for me, I'll give number 2 to metas because it's not a problem you'll run into in every single game, but it definitely stands out to me in every game that I do see it.
Yeah. Well, and you can ignore them in the ones that aren't PvP based.
Yeah. You can still like make your own fun.
Yeah.
But number 1 for me, and this is entirely opinion based and I know it, but is the no fighting back or unkillable enemies. Because here's the other thing, and I know this to be my issue with it, but having an anxiety disorder that is like heavily sparked by like not having any control whatsoever,
being powerless in a situation.
Those games are literally like, it makes me uncomfortable watching people play them. It just like, there's nothing enjoyable about those scenarios for me.
Yeah, that's fair. It's the simulation of that.
Yeah.
And it still hurts.
It's literally just like, hey, let's play Panic Attack the game. And I can't do that.
You can't fight back. Isn't that fun?
Are you having a good time yet? As it removes its hand from around my throat.
That's our ranked lists of our top 5 and bottom 5 game mechanics. Now we're going to go into a slightly different, controversial takes on a singular game mechanic. You want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first because I already know what yours is, and yours is, I think, going to spark much more conversation than mine. My controversial take on a mechanic is stealth. Whether it be a forced stealth section, looking at Sony, I believe Sony's Spider-Man games. Mary Jane sections, not too fun. Not an enjoyable time after you've been whipping around and sticking bad guys to walls or kicking people off buildings.
Taking you out of the normal gameplay and forcing you to do it in a completely different way is, I don't know, it's always an interesting choice to me.
Which also kind of goes into my opinion on stealth isn't like, it's not a matter of, it's a 50-50 chance. Like you'll have good stealth in a game or you'll have bad stealth in a game. It's like a 30-30 or a 33-33-33 split of you're going to have perfectly adequate stealth mechanics.
Completely good.
Or
fine, rather.
NPC AI is going to be hyper vigilant, and every move you make is going to draw attention, and you're going to be caught unless you follow a very, very specific path and time pattern that the dev has set out. Or you don't even have to crouch to get past any of these enemies. They are just blind.
Yeah.
They cannot comprehend that you even exist in the space around them.
A stealth game that didn't bother to like make their enemy AI good enough to notice an unstealth character is ridiculous.
Right. Well, a lot of the issue tends to be games that aren't stealth based, but seem to think that they need to involve some form of stealth or a stealth mission.
Yeah.
With a game that has no mechanics actually built around stealth.
Afterthought stealth.
Yes. We have the ability for your character to crouch in the game, which means we automatically have stealth. That is what stealth means.
Mm-hmm. I did like the stealth in Dishonored.
Oh, yeah. Stealth and
Dishonored
Dishonored felt nice. I'm also a fan of the Hitman games.
Yeah.
But like things like the new Thief remake, I didn't really like. That was for reasons apart from stealth mechanics. But I think a good one has fine stealth mechanics is a game called Styx.
Oh, I've played Styx. Yeah.
I enjoy it. I mean, it's okay.
A game focused on stealth should have a little better stealth than that,
Yes.
I agree.
Which is kind of a testament to like I think stealth is a mechanic that more often than not is poorly
Yeah.
executed.
Usually it's either going to be like fine or it's going to disappoint.
Right. It's rare for it to be like good.
Yeah. And then you have Skyrim stealth where you can just crouch and disappear from somebody's existence.
It's just the wind.
If you're crouched, they lose object permanence.
It's like my toddler.
Hell yeah. Well, that's your controversial take on mechanics.
Yeah, drop us into this one.
Mine is that I fucking hate transmogs in games.
And I hard disagree.
I hate them, dude. I hate it. And I'll explain why. So I don't like transmogs in games because whether it's you get an item and then you unlock that appearance forever, or whether it's like, however it's implemented, I don't like it. Because especially in games like WoW, transmogs make everybody look the fucking same. Because all the shit, it comes back to unique items and like having that sense of like, I did this and I earned it. But instead, it's like, oh, I found this item early on. Now it's my favorite thing. It looks the coolest to me. No matter what I get from here on out, this is always going to be what my shit looks like. It's like, no, I want it to be like, there are times where my gear shouldn't look cohesive because I haven't like gathered a full set, or I haven't like grinded, or not even grinded, but like I haven't chosen to go do a dungeon to get this cool item that I want. But like when you have transmogs, it's like what I saw in WoW, and this is mainly an opinion based on WoW, which I played on and off for like 20 years. Thinking about how long, I was like, fuck, 20 years, yeah. But I feel like it encouraged, the introduction of transmogs encouraged the WoW dev team to be lazier with art. Because last time I played WoW, I think it was Dragonflight was the last expansion I tried to play. And I thought Dragonflight was fun. But the armor sets you get while playing Dragonflight are so fucking dumb. All of the quest rewards look exactly the same for every single, so it's like all the leather for the entire expansion, other than like rares, other than stuff you get from dungeons, all of it looks the same. All of the mail looks the same. All of the plate looks the same, but they're recolored, and that's it. And it's so fucking annoying. It's like, I want to know that I've progressed. Give me something that looks at least slightly different. But no, it's just a darker iron, or like whatever. I don't know. It just fucking, it's the whole thing of like, I want to see my progress visually on my character. And in that scenario, transmogs, I think, were the reason that they kind of phased out making more unique items spread across the game. Because like you in classic WoW, they still had this where like some items had the same texture, but I feel like there was a larger number of varied,
unique weapon designs,
unique art for weapons and armor. And that ties into my unique items thing pretty heavily, because I just want my thing to look like my thing. And I want to be proud that I have the thing I like.
See, I do understand that to a degree, because this kind of highlights a potential issue with games like Diablo.
Yeah, I don't like transmogs in that game either.
But
I do have to do it.
Yes, and that's the thing. Is like, I like transmogs because a lot of the time, even if you have like a particular build you are going for in Diablo, if you are like actually pushing for progression on like your like, I'm trying to remember what it is in D4 now.
Paragon? Or is that
beyond like the difficulty? How you like almost like torment from D3.
Torment levels.
It might still be that in Diablo 4.
Same concept, I'm sure.
But or like Borderlands, how they have the overpower levels that you can like, it's all that it does is like further increases like how strong enemies are, but it drops higher like quality loot for you as well.
Yeah.
Is in your grind for your like full set is typically like you like, let's say you already had a full set at this level. Well, now I need the full set at this next level. Well, all the gear that I'm now finding is now this higher like rank, not my set, but still leagues above what I've got on.
And it looks like absolute doo-doo.
Yep. So inevitably you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I still want to equip the better gear, but I don't want to look like a bum.
Yeah. Well, and that's fair. And I think that comes back to like my thing about unique items, because going, you reach those like threshold points where it's like, oh, I've got like the best gear at this level. And then once you go past that level, the like in between gear, it like, oh, my really cool set, now I'm replacing it with better gear that looks like a normal iron sword or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. But I think instead of adding transmogs, we should just
Make weapons
we should
look
hold
cooler.
people accountable and
Right.
make them pay artists to make more art.
Well, and also kind of leans on, when you have games that just like consistently dump loot, is at a certain point you have to
Yeah.
stop including the like weaker designed weapons in that higher loot pool.
I understand there's like a volume problem here, but like I guess that's also why WoW had a level crunch. At a certain point, how do you keep progressing? How do you It's like playing D&D and getting to like the end game fight and then continuing to play that group of characters after that. It's like, how do we escalate further than the tippy top? It's hard to walk back down from that in a satisfying way.
Yeah. Well, and this is almost in like a completely different direction, because this isn't directly transmogs, but kind of leads to because transmogging is all about freedom of like, I want my character to look how I want them to look.
Aesthetics. Which
kind of
I get.
Runs into like Fable 1. I don't know if you played Fable 1 or like the sequels thereafter.
I've played the last chapters.
So Fable 1 had where armor actually did provide armor value. And the reason that the following games don't is because the devs found that people weren't making their characters how they wanted. They were all like looked the exact same, because people would like, oh, well, this is the gear that provides me the most benefit, even if it like doesn't look like what I want.
That's fair.
And well, which it kind of like played to their detriment in that in Fable 2, I recall the outfits like that you could like change for your character as being very lackluster.
Oh yeah.
Which Fable 3 attempted to kind of like recover by adding a lot more variation with like the stuff you could find, but they really lost any and all individual style, because like Fable 1, you had like the dark like cloak pieces that you could get like full like face armors and like just a lot of stuff like that because they decided to get away from having like actual armor, they got away from having like stuff that looked like actual armor.
You mean unique items?
Yes. Well, and like not just that, because I mean they do still to a degree. Like Fable 3 has like witch outfits and like stuff like that.
Reusing the skins though.
Yeah, nothing that is like very standout.
Yeah. And I feel like my issue is more prevalent in like an MMO where everybody, has the same stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like at a certain point, if like there's a really fucking cool gear piece or weapon and like basically everybody in that class is gonna have it as a transmog, and regardless of if there is more gear later, they're just gonna be like, this is what I'm gonna be looking like for the rest of this patch or the rest of this like expansion. And yeah, in single player games it's a lot less of a bother to me. Like Cyberpunk, when Cyberpunk came out, all of the gear is basically pointless anyway, and you just look like a fucking asshat all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that they updated it to make it so like that didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, they definitely shifted to like the cyberware actually provided your armor.
Yeah.
Clothes were clothes. That's aesthetic.
But in those situations, it's not like I'm grinding for that stuff. It's not like I've worked hard to like acquire cool, unique shit.
Right.
It's just like,
I mean, it's like The Sims. I just want to dress my character like a person.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. I want to look like a dude who makes sense, not somebody in short shorts and a cop helmet or whatever the fuck things were in that early iteration of Cyberpunk.
Well, my boy, I think we've sufficiently died on our hills. So, I think that's been this episode of Resync. If you made it to the end, thank you for listening with us. And if you like what you heard, you can follow us at ResyncCast, ResyncCast, on Blue Sky. And you can find Resync on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Goodbye.
Bye.